Before chains, before ships, before history was rewritten, there was a name. A name carried by the wind across the plains of West Africa. A name spoken with pride, strength, and identity. That name was Kunta Kinte. In the mid 1700s, in a small village called Jufure, along the banks of the river Gambia, a boy was born into the Mandinka people. His name was Kunta Kinte. Raised in a deeply rooted African culture, Kunta was taught discipline, honor, and tradition from a young age. His father, Omoro Kinte, was a respected man. His mother, Binta, nurtured him with stories and values passed down through generations. He learned the ways of his people, how to farm, how to hunt, and most importantly, how to remember who he was. Because in Mandinka culture, your name was not just a label, it was your identity. But one day, everything changed. While searching for wood to make a drum, Kunta was ambushed. Captured by slave traders, his world was torn apart in a moment. He was no longer a son, no longer free. He had become cargo. Kunta Kinte was taken to the coast and forced onto a slave ship bound for America. This journey, known as the transatlantic slave trade, was one of the darkest chapters in human history. Hundreds of Africans were packed into ships like cargo, with little food, no space, and no dignity. Many did not survive the journey, as Kunta did. When he arrived in America, Kunta Kinte was sold into slavery, stripped of his language, stripped of his culture, stripped of his freedom. And then they tried to strip him of his name. He was ordered to answer to the name Dubi, but Kunta refused. Again and again and again, he resisted. For refusing to accept his slave name, Kunta Kinte was brutally punished. He was beaten, tortured, and broken physically. But mentally, he refused to surrender. Even when his body was forced to obey, his spirit never did. Despite everything, Kunta held on to who he was. He remembered his home, his language, his name, and he passed it on to his daughter, Kizzy. He told the story of where he came from, because even in chains, knowledge was freedom. Generations later, this story would be told to the world through the book, Roots, the saga of an American family, written by Alice Harley. Roots brought the story of Kunta Kinte into millions of homes. But how much of Kunta Kinte's story is true? Historians have debated accuracy of Roots. Some parts may have been dramatized, others questioned entirely, but the deeper truth remains undeniable. Millions of Africans were captured, transported, and enslaved. Kunta Kinte represents them all. Today, Kunta Kinte's story is not just about their past. It is about identity. It is about resistance. It is about remembering who you are, even when the war tries to erase it. They tried to take his freedom. They tried to take his voice. They even tried to take his name. But they failed, because history remembers him, not as Tubi, but as Kunta Kinte. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe and share, because stories like this must never be forgotten.